guys ready? Oh, sorry. Take it seriously.
Hi guys, how we doing? Robin, Ian, Bonnick, Rib here, another Speak Up Monday here at Tropical Nomad every Monday, 7 p.m. to whenever we finish. Tonight I've got a feeling that might be late. Now, so as you know, for those of you who don't, Speak Up Monday every Monday, number 69 tonight. Nothing intended by the number, by the way.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
I wanted to say the best till some in your last. So what is it about? It's an inspirational platform through a Q&A with usually people that I absolutely love, but maybe don't know extremely well, but know enough to know they're amazing. And it's a bit like you're peering in on two people getting to know each other. And that's the beauty of it, because out of it comes something that is inspiring, something that will take you through to the next phase of wherever you might be. And I have no idea where that is, but it always seems to work. So that's what Speak Up Monday is every Monday. Number 69 is tonight. The second thing is that after watching this, or you just get that vibe, get that tug, tap on the shoulder from the universe saying, hey, I would love to do one of those, right? So you can reach me through Speak Up Monday, through my Instagram. I'm sure you can see the details in the description of how you can contact me. Hook it up so you're sitting in the same seat as this beautiful man, and it's a wonderful experience. That's the second one. And the last one is, feel free to share this, right? There's usually some incredible information that comes out. Again, this is just how it works. And I'd love you to share it to people that would love to hear it, or share it to people that you just have a feeling would really enjoy it and get great value out of it, all right? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce, well actually I'll let him introduce himself, our guest for tonight, a beautiful man by the name of Gil Petersil. Now, how I met Gil was through another mutual friend of ours called Rhonda Swan, and who'll be on the show next week, actually. That will be interesting. And she was doing an amazing event in Tabanan, yeah. And I think I was speaking first, and then you followed. And see, when you hear him speak, you'll get what I'm saying, but he has this presence and this kind of like aura with his voice. And it's like, how would I liken it? It's a bit like this, and don't take this the wrong way. It's a bit like this. It's a bit like, you know, when you're like, you love your mom and dad, right? And, you know, you're going to sleep, and your dad is telling you a bedtime story, and it's the best story that you've ever heard, and it just lulls you into this beautiful state of trust, awareness, and consciousness, right? After which you just feel at peace with the world, right? That's what it's like talking to you.
I have never heard that description before. That was like cool and strange at the same time. I'll take it. I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Stop it. Keep it going.
That's what it's like talking to you. You have this magnanimity and this inner power and strength that comes through you in a way that is very beautiful to receive. So when I'm talking to you, it's like I'm the only person who's talking to you, right? It's like you have this. There's three types of listening, and then I'll stop after this. You know, the listening to interrupt. We all know what that one looks like. So, yeah, but I think this. And then the listening for listening's sake. Yeah, I'm listening to you, but not really listening. And then there's the other listening, which is active listening, which you're listening for not only what you're saying, but what you're not saying as well.
Listening with curiosity in the back of your mind.
There you go.
I want to know more.
There you go. And that's how I feel when I'm with you, right? And it's a beautiful feeling to be part of. So look, without further ado, I'm going to turn my camera towards you.
Oh my goodness.
So you know who we're talking about. And look, so let's
So like this is weird. I got you guys here, I got that camera here, I got this camera here, I got this camera here. Thank you, Rob, for allowing me to share a little bit. It's awesome. I'm very happy to be here. I'm not going to look at you guys a lot more. I'm going to look at you guys online a little bit. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit. You guys see me all the time. You guys, I don't know who you are. Nice to meet you. I'll talk to you a little bit more. What do you want me to share, man?
Well, look, let's start like this. So for those of you here, realize as well that Tropical Nomad, 7 p.m. every Monday, we have a studio audience as well. Say hello, studio audience.
Really? That's your energy?
Was that it?
Bali energy, please.
One more time. Hello, studio audience.
There you go.
There you go.
You see, now you know that the world, Bali is not all about meditation and, you know, hippies. We got some cool entrepreneurs here, yeah? All right. Well, you know, some people think that Bali is all about hippies and stuff. We got to show them that awesome people live here.
That's right. So look, we're going to start this off. Now, Richie? Microphone is a little off. All right. Better? Okay, the controller. We've got a few technical challenges here, guys, so we'll do this for you. All right. So my first question to you, my brother, is I'd love to see how people started in their life. You've been incredibly successful. We'll get into that. But I'd love to kind of hear you to share, like where did you grow up, where were you born, and what was life like in your home where you were growing up?
I'll give you the short version.
Short version is good.
How many people know Israel? How many people have been to Israel? All right. So I grew up in Israel, in the north of Israel, on the borders to a kibbutz. A kibbutz, if you don't know, is like a farm. It's basically, so now living in Abud, cows here. I was born next to cows and chickens, but my dad decided not to live in that kind of village. He decided to live across the field. So we were like city kind of thing, but it was not city. So yeah, I lived in Israel for the first 10 years of my life as a kid. I didn't really know not much, around. We didn't have Facebook, back then. So I played with sticks and rocks, and then at one stage, my dad got a TV and a computer. That was interesting. The Commodore. Anyone had one of those?
Commodore 64?
Yeah, that Commodore 64, man. Yeah. So that was like 35 years ago. I got my first computer, and I was just a weird introverted kid who didn't have a lot of friends. Yeah, I was introverted, man. I loved my cat, and I loved my dog, and I loved my room, and I was a, shy. Yeah, my mom doesn't understand how I became who I am today, man. But I was the guy that was just happy with that circle of people, 3 friends, and that was life until the age of 10, man. And that's when my dad decided to move to Canada. That's when everything started to open up in my life.
And look, just with that, so for me personally, I call myself an introverted extrovert, right? Or an extroverted introvert, either way. Because at home, children's home, black kid. At school, I was the only black kid for 14 years or something like that. So at home, I was this introverted kid because I was always the youngest in the orphanage, right? For all the years, 18 years I was there. Yet at school, because I was good at sport, what happened was that it's difficult to be an introvert when you're put on a pedestal. It's hard to be up there and going, yeah, my name is Rob and I'm quite shy. So I became like an actor. And that was the extroverted part of me that came out, right? So that's how I say I'm an introverted extrovert. I still am. I have the ability to turn it off and switch it on. So for you, what was that switch, if there was?
The switch became much, much later on in my life, man. It was, I moved from, in Canada, I was there for 10 years, and in Canada until, I was still the introverted, shy guy, didn't organize events, wasn't really the cool guy in class, got kicked out of multiple high schools, cheated in college completely. I was very resourceful. I wasn't cheating, I was very, very resourceful. But it's the only way I could pass high school. It's the only way I could pass. I was just, I don't know, illiterate, and English is my 3rd language. So English is the language I only learned from TV and from the streets. So like it was really difficult for me. The extroverted side only came out when I moved to England when I was 20 years old, because everyone in my company was older than me and really weird people in my eyes, and I didn't know how to make friends. And British people are usually nice, but no, they're not really easy to network with in general. They're really, really not easy. And I did some weird, I went to the pub at 6 o'clock and I was like having a beer. I hate beer, my God, just to kind of connect. And I went to the pool, the billiard, sorry, as you guys call it in England, and that did not work for me. What worked for me there is speed dating. So I would go and I date 15 women in one night, and that's pretty good because you have 5 minutes with every woman. And the extroverted side came out because I knew what to ask them. Like I would mess up with the first 5 women, and then I would know what to ask the next ones because I would learn very, very quickly. And then online dating became a big thing for me. And then charity events. The age of 21, I was already connected to charity events, so I understood how to be cool in events because, hey, I'm part of the organizers. So I'd build up my confidence by associating myself with brands that were kind of already well known. At the time, I didn't really have a cool job. I was just working in the banking industry, but I had this ability to connect with people through people, to connect with people through the events themselves. And that helped me to just build my initial network, and then I picked up some cooking classes, and I used to host like really good, learn how to cook if you want to meet a woman. It always worked for me. And that's how I got my wife, at least that's what she says. I used to cook and just invited my neighbors. No one does that, by the way, in England or in the world. You actually go around your street and you actually put signs under their door. I'm having a barbecue on Saturday. Do you know how many complaints I had? Stop spamming our door. Who are you? Like, I'm your neighbor. I don't know how do you meet your neighbors, you know? But yeah, no one does that in the world, I think. But I invited all my neighborhoods, everyone. I actually met a lot of nice South Africans in London. A lot of really nice. Any South Africans here today? No. Half. A lot of nice, friendly South Africans were in my neighborhood in Golders Green in London, and those were my first real friends in London, man. That's how I kind of came out of my shell a little bit.
And just a very quick question about the languages, because English is the third language, so Hebrew was the first one.
Hebrew,
And the second was what?
French.
Oh,
On peut parler français, oui, on peut parler français si vous voulez, mais pas très bien parce que ça fait beaucoup de années que je parle pas. So it's been many years since I've spoken French, but if I need to, give me a couple of weeks in France and it comes out naturally.
So then let's go back. So 0 to 10. So we have this interesting...
10 years in Israel, 10 years in Canada, 10 years in England, 10 years in Russia.
All right.
On average.
10. Good. So we have this thing that keeps coming up every week, actually. Doesn't mean it has to come up today, but just going to put it out there. So like 0 to 7 is theta brainwave state that we're in, like sponges for whatever's going on around us, right? Our major caregivers, which is often our parents, but not always, in my case anyway. So, you know, and we're kind of led in a way to become certain people.
Yes.
If you can break that, right? So 0 to 7, so like you mentioned before, you know, where you grew up, right? So what kind of personality were your parents? Did you have any siblings? And
I did, yeah. So I was the middle child, man. So I was forgotten about a little bit, you know. The middle child, yeah. My sister was born 6 years after me, so I had kind of 6 years, a little bit of kind of fun. But my brother being 3 years older than me, we were not friends for most of my adult life. I thought it would change when he had kids, but it only actually changed a few years ago when he left IBM after 20 years. Sorry, I'm saying that, bro. He left IBM after 20 years, and he finally became an entrepreneur. He understood my world. I've never understood the corporate world for 20 years. I cannot, that's not, I don't get that. Sorry if any of you have been around 20 years, and I don't get to stay in one company. So we were never really close. But my family, yeah, my dad has always been a carpenter.
Okay.
So I understand how to build. I could build the house. I could fix your pipes and your electricity. I could build shit with my hands. Very resourceful that way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so I've learned how to cater. I understand how to cook extremely well, and I love presentation. So as soon as I got to Bali, I love Bali for all their beautiful crafts. So already brand new home, I have lots of bowls and lots of beautiful spoons and everything ready for a party. I got that from my mom. She still caters till this date. And yeah, brother and sister. So I was not really, my influence, I think, was a few kids in the neighborhood. And yeah, my brother was not a massive influence. He always told me I talk too loud. Yeah. Now I know why. Yeah, because sometimes the microphones break. And I gotta speak loudly. No, it's happened to me. I got 1,000 people in front of me, and the microphone breaks. Yeah. Oh yeah, your voice has to travel over 1,000 people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So your mom, was she a bit extroverted because she's cooking? And...
No, I have no extroverts in my family. My grandfather, who's actually recently passed away, he was known as the extrovert in our family. Yeah. He was the one that was actually historically organizing parties with my grandmother. That was their thing. They were the cool people. If you see pictures of them before I was born, they were like the cool like people in the crowd. They had parties in their house and all these like, I don't know what kind of parties, but you know, special ones. Yeah.
Cool, brother. So then, you know, so what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during those first 10 years that you can remember, and then the second 10 years?
First 10 years was making friends. I didn't really understand how to make friends. It was really difficult for me. But again, when you live in such a small neighborhood like in Israel, like you don't need a lot of friends. You know, I don't really remember that part of my life very well. I think I've kind of disconnected from it a little bit. And the next 2 years of my life is Canada. So there was learning a language, really difficult to make friends when no one speaks your language. Any experience of that? No one speaks your language, you're in a class, you're the only one that speaks Hebrew, no one speaks your language. It took 7 months in the country until one extra student from Israel came to class. That was the happiest day in my life. Like the teacher came in and she said some words, I don't remember what she said because I didn't understand them. But she said the word Israel, and she said that his name was Ben. That was like, please come and sit next to me. That was a very, very special moment in my life. I still connected to this guy on Facebook. I don't know what he's really doing these days, but you know, he was my first real friend in Canada. I remember that clearly. And then Canada was just being kicked out of a few high schools and trying to fit in, and dyslexia and ADHD, doesn't fit, troublemaker, blowing up firecrackers. I was a troublemaker. I don't know who liked fire. Like I was like mixing them up and doing some chemistry in my. I was a weird kid, man. I was a weird. If I think about it now, I was like, wow, what is wrong with you, man? I was buying friends with candies. Yeah. I didn't know how to make friends, so again, language was not there. So I came to school with a bag of candies, and like you know, that was my way of getting girls to talk to me. Yeah, just being honest here. Yeah, being honest. If you're listening, yeah. I'm still friends with some of those girls. They invited me to their house party because he was the candy guy. Yeah, my mom used to laugh. I used to keep candies in my room just in case, you know, like I needed it the next day in school. That was my way of, no, but today I took it to another level. You know, I've owned 2 catering companies where you feed people. If you feed people, they will come. Like more people will show up next to him if you tell them it's 7 o'clock or it's 6 o'clock, you get food. Yeah, light snacks at 7 o'clock, people will show up on time. What's up, you know, yes or no? Yes. You see, look at that. Like, yeah, you
I'm hungry. I'm hungry, feed me. I'm hungry.
So that worked out, the whole idea. But back then it was buying friends because I didn't understand how to connect. I didn't understand how do you add value to another human being if you think that person is higher level than you. So if that person spoke English, if that person was cool, if that person had friends, if that person was kind of doing their homework on time, to me, in my head, they were a higher level than me. Whereas in today in society, people think someone who's rich, someone who's well connected, someone who's got a nice car is higher level than you. But actually, we're all in the exact same level.
Absolutely.
It took me a while to learn that one.
Yeah. And you know what I love about your story, right, is this, I look at you now, I see a confident guy who is incredibly gifted with people socially, like your social intelligence is huge, right? Different types of intelligences, emotional and so on, huge, off the chart. But how you started was the complete opposite. And I love that.
Because what I've learned that it was learning how to disconnect from societies and quickly connect again with less pain every time. So when I left Israel, I tried to stay in touch with some of the friends that I had with snail mail. I actually, for a few months, wrote mail, and it's weird. I think I have nostalgia. I actually still have those letters. Yeah, I still have those letters in my mom's house. Like for a few months, you were writing letters to friends. And then that stopped very quickly, and then I had to learn how to make new friends. And then when I moved from Montreal to Toronto, again, I had to disconnect from friends. And before Facebook, like who was emailing friends and stuff? We weren't really using emails for friends. This is 24 years ago. So you're like, I disconnected from friends in Montreal and moved to Toronto thinking I'll keep some friends. I kept 2 friends. And then in Toronto, again, you disconnect from people. You have to make a new community. You have to, again, make friends from scratch, from zero. So again, you have to find tools and this and this and this. And again, from Toronto to England, London, again, you have to disconnect from friends and make friends. And how do you stay in touch? You're like, Gil, come back to my birthday. Gil, you still friends with us? I used to fly back and forth. And I was stupid. Who does that, so much? Back then, this is 20 years ago, like, so it was to make friends. And I think that it's like a muscle. You learn how to disconnect and connect to new communities, and you learn how to become better every time for them. You learn how to serve them better, which is cool.
See, like, what I love, right, is that sometimes I reflect and kind of say, well, if not necessarily the purpose, but the purpose of what I'm doing right now, when I look back over my life, I see all the different parts of it, right, the different things which I could not have put into any kind of odds. But I've realized and I followed the breadcrumbs and said, that's why that happened, right? So in many ways, when we talk about networking and you're an ultimate networker, it's like all of these things that were going on for you, it was teaching you, how to disconnect, reconnect, carry friendships throughout the entirety, right? But most importantly, make new friends, right? Create that circle of influence here, and here. And that seems to be one of your superpowers, as you like to call them, right? And over the years, it seems that you've just been sharpening your tools along. So in that sense, 10. So the second 10 years, what was the biggest lesson?
Second 10 years, you mean in Canada?
Yep.
lessons. So school was not for me. I think school is awful for most people. Traditional school, please don't send your kids to traditional school. If you do, you're making a massive mistake. Anyone who's listening online, the worst mistake you can ever make is send your kids to school. Allow your kids to be creative. So my parents didn't really sorry guys if you're listening to this. You know, I went to school, you know, school, do your homework, blah, blah, blah. So my creativity was learning how to cheat really, really creatively. Like really, hey, it's not even funny, guys. If we had time, I would tell you how I cheated. You'd say this guy was a spy at the age of 13. Like I'm talking about like, what the fuck? Like that's creativity, yeah? So that's what I'm allowing my kids to do today. Be as creative as possible. My kids are young, you know, they're 2 and 4, but be as creative as you want. Don't give them too much structure at a young age. Today, I give corporation structures, I give government structures, I give mastermind structures in communication, as long as it's structured in a very, very specific time frame with an algorithm. For adults, structure is good. So I learned that structure was not for me. I learned that second part of my life, what dyslexia and ADHD was. I only learned that at the age of like 16, 17. I didn't really know what that meant. My parents were told back then, but I didn't really know there was no tools for me. And I'm happy that my parents didn't give me any pills or anything. That was cool. I learned that you know, working hard doesn't pay off. It doesn't pay off at all. Sorry if anybody is working hard for a living. It's stupid. Work smart. Be efficient and constantly innovate. Constantly. So in recent years from my wife, I learned Kaizen. You know, the Japanese methodology of continuous improvement. So I learned that back in when I was working in Toronto. Was working in the logistics company. We were doing consulting for Walmart for a few years. So I learned consulting in logistics at the highest level possible. You do consulting for Walmart, you don't mess around. There isn't much room for mistakes. There isn't, and if there is a mistake, you pay stupid amounts of money. So I learned a lot about this. How do we make this procedure better? How do we make it better? And also, how do we not blame people? How do we blame the procedure? So I learned that at a young age.
How to not blame people, but blame the procedure.
Of course. But I forgot it a few times. I'll be very honest. I don't know if any of my employees are listening. I'm not perfect. I learned that and I forgot it, like many things. But also at that stage in my life, in my around 18, I learned who Tony Robbins was. That's helped me a lot because now I'm, you know, very, very close to him and quite big business with him. So that really helped me back then because I was completely lost. My life was office, gym, and home. Like for 3 years in Toronto, I had no life much. Like really, really no life. Like except that life of office, gym. I looked good at the age of 18. Yeah, 18, 19, I had like a six-pack. I was able to like, I remember like doing arm wrestling for fun with friends. I was like that guy. I have a one-pack now. It's protecting my six-pack. Protecting it, I'm protecting it. I don't want the six-pack to run away, you know? It's protecting it.
Quick question. Where does your love for humanity come from? Where does it come from? Because I see in you, I'll give you a chance to think, I see in you a great love. I've seen you over many times, you've become good mates, but I see the way you interact with all sorts of people, right? The one constant for me is that there's always love with you.
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
Good question. Never been asked that before. I don't know. It doesn't come from my early age, I think, because I didn't get much love from others. Like, again, I was pushed away. I was not the cool guy. I didn't have a lot of friends. People didn't invite me to parties. It was just in England that I started getting into some parties and organizing parties, but that was already in my early 20s. So there's probably a couple of places, and I'll start with the latter. The latter is like I've been fucked by humans so many times. Sorry. Like really, I've been cheated. I've been hurt. I've been beaten up. I've been stolen from. I've had hostile takeovers of businesses. I've had like so much shit in business, especially in Russia. Sorry for the Russians in the audience. Russia helped me become a man. In a good way, yeah. But England also didn't, England, I still have people that owe me stupid amounts of money there. I think that's kind of the latter. Like, I've learned that humans are not always nice from pain. Yeah. So it's kind of showing them love all the time and trusting ahead of time is easier to receive a better relationship.
Yeah.
But I would say the first one was maybe I learned it from the candies. You know, like if I gave you candies, maybe you liked me. So I learned from a very early age, if I serve you, if I'm nice to you, if I give you added value, if I suggest a book, if I introduce you to people, if I invite you to an event, if I give you value first, then maybe you'll appreciate me more. And I think that's kind of worked out for me so far in life, that when I meet people, I have two mindsets. How can I help you? What could I learn from you? That's the only thing I'm thinking about when I meet a human being. And that's very different than most people I meet. Most people is like, what do you want from me? What could I get from you? Like most, not you guys. You guys are angels here. And you guys are angels and you're angels, yes. But most humans think, do I like you? Can I trust you? Harvard did this massive research. The average human being decides if they like you and trust you within 2 seconds. So I like you and trust you within 2 seconds right away. Doesn't matter who you are. Homeless person on the street, ugly looking girl, whatever. I like you and trust you right away. No, I've programmed my mind to not judge, because it's very easy to judge right away. It's very easy to look at a watch and this and this. Money, no money. Is he weird? Is he not weird? Does he smell good? Does she smell good? Does she look good? It's very easy to do that, as the reptile inside of us kind of wants to protect ourselves. So we usually project something to make us superior. Unfortunately, as human beings, that's what we do. But if I make myself as equal as possible or inferior to you a little bit, where I could learn from you, then everyone is a teacher for me. And that one I got from Tony early on, and I think that's what helped me in England a lot, because I was just kind of like, I did that with women, all these speed dating. I was like acting to some degree vulnerable, like I'm new in the country, like I'd love to learn. Like I went to see the exact same park and the exact same museum so many times because they were showing it to me. And I learned that worked out, like they wanted to show it to me. That worked out back then because I was the new guy.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. I got to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, part of this, for those of you watching now, I'll give you a bit of a break, have some water if you need it, is that what I love about this is that each week, whoever's going to be sitting here, you're going to get maximum value from, no doubt. But then people like Gil and whoever's going to sit in the seat quite often have done many, many interviews, right? So in a way, being interviewed, it's easy to get into that rhythm. And you've answered that question before a million times, and you just say it, and you just say it, and you say it, and you know the timing, what makes people laugh, what makes people cry. You just, pure repetition. What I love is that, I call it the clock, right? So imagine a clock, 12 to 12, old-fashioned clock. 12 to 2 is what I know that I know. I know my name, I know where I live, I know the color I am, and all the rest of that. 2 to 4 is like, I know that I don't know this, so I know that I'm not good at maths. I know that I'm not great at algebra or chemistry, right? And then 4 till 12 is the area of I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And this is the area of inspiration and change truly, right? So when Gil says, I've never been asked that question before, it's powerful because whoever's sitting there, when they're stopped in their tracks and they have to go somewhere and think, then a door opens up for you being interviewed, right? And in the next few days, something usually uncovers in that direction, and that's the beauty, so then you are getting value as well. And that's what I absolutely love about this particular platform. So thank you for being open to the process, my brother. Yeah. Okay, getting on. So the third 10-year stretch, what was your greatest lesson?
I don't know about greatest, man. You're asking cool questions, but I don't know greatest, man. 10 years in England, almost 10 years. In the last couple of years, I skipped to Russia, and I was doing England, Russia. But England, for me, there was a few big lessons because I came in the banking industry and ATMs, cash machines, not banking like the investment bankers, but I was working in cash machines. That was an interesting business. And I was hired into a job with zero experience in the industry, with no references or anything, just my boss knew the owner of the company and said, yes, take him, he'll be good for you. And they flew me to England, and I was the operations director of this company. I knew nothing about it. So I think the lesson from those 3 years is you can fake it until you make it in business. You could really, you could work smart, you can connect with the right people, you could read some books, you could try to make it. You don't have to follow the books. Like I know one guy right now in Singapore who's helping me out. I hope you're not listening to this, man. But he's applied for 150 companies. I'm like, what? 150 companies? That's like, what, we're like, apply for 5, get 3. Like, how do you, sorry, man, like, 150 companies. So for me, it was like, like, I think it was, if you can add value to people, and if you could show people that you're persevere, you don't give up, you're willing to learn fast, you're willing to find solutions for problems, you're not a person that blames people, you'll get opportunities. So I got an opportunity within the banking industry, and then this company was bought out by this other company. And again, I was like networking my way, like, do I want to get fired right now? No, okay, and this other company took me as well, and it was like the biggest ATM company in the world. And I was like, I knew nothing about this, like, what? Like, ATMs, cash money, yeah, I like completely faked it in the industry, but I was doing a good job, and like they liked how I was like inspiring the team and talking about things, and like I was just, no experience in that, and I didn't have the education to do it, but I was able to add value. I was able to get the job done. I was able to hustle. In England, taught me, I would say hustling was a big thing, because I had to hustle from the banking industry, to stay there, to keep my job. And then I quit my job after about 3 years because they asked me to fire a stupid amount of people. Yes, Ashley, if you're listening, you asked me to fire a lot of people in the whole department because of an acquisition. And I quit my job the same day. It was quite special. And took a little break. And again, instead of applying for jobs, I just went and met with people I knew. And I told them, like, oh, I'm a hard worker. This is who I am. These are my values. This is what I love. I was just networking. And I got a job in the organic health and beauty industry. Distribution company, retail, like, a lot of activity. And I hustled through there, but I remember so clearly hustling in between that time. I even hustled through, if you know, Wembley car boot sale. Man, car boot sale, do you guys know what that is? 5 o'clock in the morning, you show up, you open up the trunk of your car. I don't have a trunk. I don't have a car. I took a taxi there. Literally, I took a taxi to a car boot sale. You're supposed to have a car, open up the boot of your car, and sell whatever you can. No, but I didn't have enough money, and I needed money to help my family a little bit. I needed money to survive comfortably. And I managed to find some things from a friend of mine, and I just took a taxi with 2 suitcases every single month, Sunday, 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to sell everything. That was hustling for me, because that was the time of my life I didn't have a lot of money. England was expensive. I had to find a way to open businesses. Even now, man, during COVID time, anyone that says, I'm waiting until tourists come back, or I'm waiting until things get better, or I'm waiting until this guy fixes it, that guy, they're full of shit. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say that.
You say whatever you want.
Yeah, don't wait for anyone. Things are not going to get better. Things are not going to be okay. Things are going to change. Hustle. Hustle. Find a solution. You got a problem, find a solution. If you don't have a solution, someone else does.
That's right.
And that was England. In England, I started doing personal development a lot more. I went to events. Best place to meet women for me in England was speed dating. Best place to meet men. Do you guys know?
Football.
No. Where? No. Buzz?
Bars.
No, I tried. I got punched in the face because he thought I was hitting on him. Yeah, he really thought I was hitting on him, like literally. What did I say? I said something weird that in America sounds right, but in England it was like a bad word. No, I don't remember what I said. I said something bad, and he punched me in the face. That was the second time I've ever been punched in my face. No, anyone else? Where do you meet guys in England? Football? No, how do you meet guys in football? No, I don't play football. I'm not. Do I look like a sports guy? No. Expos. I went to like the marketing expo, the gift expo, very generic expos, and I treated them like speed dating. I would put my phone on vibration in my pocket, and every 5 minutes I would end the conversation as respectfully as possible and move on to the next guy standing there. And that taught me how to start conversations and end conversations with random, sometimes useless people, how to get them to listen to me for 5 minutes, how to get them to want my contact details, how to get them to be interested in me, how to get me to think creatively. How can I connect everything I do for a living to them? Lovely. And it creates a mind of strategic partnerships, which I've written a lot about, of how you can connect any 2 businesses together that have nothing in common, but they can add a lot of value from each other. That's how I met a lot of men. I used to sometimes go back to him. I was like, listen, it was really good talking to you. How about we get together for a drink? I want to talk to you more. And then at that drink thing, I would invite him to like a house party or something. Yeah. I had like a funnel of networking with people. How do you make friends?
Wow.
Yeah, for everyone in England, like I had a strategy in my mind. Yeah, like I did. Listen. How do you make friends at that stage? I don't know. There was no Facebook. I was not really good at talking to people randomly. So I was like, if I messed it up with the first 10. Messed it up, but hustling was a good thing for me in England. Yeah, just don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Yeah, because they wouldn't call back sometimes. Yeah, ladies, yeah, you don't call back all the time. You meet a nice guy in a club, he gives you your phone number, you call her the next day, it's the wrong phone number. You know, it's like, you know, you call her, she's like, I'll call you back. She never calls you back. Yeah, you hustle, you don't give up. I don't give up, man. Yeah, no, I would like, you know, I'll get her phone number and she'll call me back. If she doesn't, okay, I'll scrap it, I'll get another one. Yeah, no, you can't give up in life.
I agree, brother. Look,
London helped me build.
But I get it.
Sorry, London helped me build balls.
Yes.
To kind of have the courage to walk up to women. Yeah, you need that. And London helped me also build some sort of a little bit of a protection shield, because when you get hit with rejection, sorry, the British people listening, Brits reject a little bit cold. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit, like not so nice all the time. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of cultural differences in the way different countries network. Yeah. I have studied different cultures and which cultures are easier to network with, blindly or openly with strangers, and which England is pretty much, sorry guys, not easy, man. Really not easy. But I had to crack it. Yeah. I'm living there. You have to hack it somehow. Don't give up.
If you can make it in London, you can make it anywhere. That's what we used to say growing up, because London is a hard city. I've lived in a few cities, not all cities, but a few. But London is, for those reasons, this Anglo-Saxon attitude, and you've got a class structure.
And if you don't like football and you sound American, fuck, man. And I sound American to them. I'm not American. I'm like an Israeli. Oh, you're Israeli. Okay, maybe better, yeah. And I don't like football and I don't like beer. That's like, you're off all of our lists. I don't like beer. I don't like football, you know. Yeah. Actually, wait. I like football games for one reason: to watch the audience react. That's it. That's the only reason I've ever watched hockey, basketball, football, just to watch the audience react. I don't care about the game or who wins, but the audience reacting for me is vibration. That's awesome.
How is it going to change that? Because there's no audience.
Of course there is. Massive audiences, man. We could talk about online networking in a minute, man. Right. There's massive audience. You can feel vibration, man. This morning I was at an audience with 10,000 people. You can feel an audience vibration, man. Yeah, human vibration and human frequencies could travel very, very far, man. Right now you're next to me, man. I can keep you awake for the next 3 days if I wanted to. All I got to do is just make sure I say a few words to you. Keep you awake for 3 days. Yeah, vibrations of another human being are very, very powerful. Sorry, I've been studying this for the last 10 years. So I've been a very, very good student of human networking.
On that note, yes. What one or two things about that could you pass on? Because that sounds very interesting as well, and it's crucial.
So it could be in any direction in business or in life, but there's a couple of things. First of all, the whole idea of thinking, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I learn from you? Is the most positive vibrations you can give to another human beings when meeting them the first, second, or third time. After you met them 3 times, usually you remember their name. Usually, I don't always. I'm sorry if I met you 3 times and I don't remember your name. Usually, you know what they do, so you can already understand the connections, the link. You can already understand what value we could bring for each other after the 3rd time, usually. But in the first 2, 3 times, you still have this protection. Who is this person? What do they want from me? Are they going to take my energy? Are they going to give me energy? Can I sleep with them tonight? Can I do business with them? Our minds are very much trying to fit the pieces. Yeah. And if you want to have really positive vibration, like a lot of energy as a human being, what you're going to do is you got to switch your mind right away. And you got to be thinking complementary, for example. So if we had a really, really big audience, I'd have fun, a lot more fun with you. But what you can do right now, and everybody at home could do this, you guys could look around and you can think about people that you know and look around, and without saying any words, can you compliment 3 people in the room around you right now? Right now, look around you, all of you, without saying any words. Look around you and compliment people in the room. So the first thing that happens, and you can compliment people in your mind, by the way. You can completely compliment, you can close your eyes and compliment people. So if you do this exercise every single morning when you wake up, and just be excited about the people that you know you're going to meet that day, in your mind. Be excited about the people that you might meet that day. Like, allow the law of attraction to work out. Like, oh my God, I wish I met this marketing guy at the bar and he's going to give me these ideas and it's really going to help my business today. Like, wow, you know, I wish I met a man on a white horse. Oh no, that's sometimes. You know, you can attract human beings very, very easily into your life. And this little like trick with complimenting people, this is the #1 trick I've given public speakers who have a fear of speaking publicly to get over fear of speaking. So #1 fear human beings have in the world is speaking publicly or public speaking. Or, you know, it's public speaking or just in general, it's being able to speak publicly. So it doesn't have to be a speech. Actually, most people are just afraid of speaking to you in public. They would say, I'd rather meet you for lunch and talk to you one-on-one. But speaking to an audience, I'm afraid and I'm being judged and people think this. And if people understand that this is just the way our minds project frequencies and the vibrations that we have inside of us. So animals and plants vibrate as well. So that's why it's great to have plants in your home. That's why I love living in Ubud, because I have a ridiculous amount of edible plants around me. That's a really, really good vibration. Especially if you compliment a piece of spinach before you eat it. It tastes so much better. I know I sound weird. Some of the people online like, what? Hippie eating his spinach from his garden? Sorry, guys, yes. And if you do this in business before walking into any high-level negotiation, if you guys compliment the people in that room in your mind, it's extremely powerful. If you walk into any business meeting, online and offline, you tell your whole team, guys, let's spend the first 5 minutes in the meeting going around the table. Everybody take 30 seconds to 1 minute and tell me the greatest things about people in your team and why you appreciate them. People will be shocked by you, first of all. But if right away you say something positive about this room, anyone that was afraid of the meeting, had some bad news to share, didn't think they did a good job, feeling a little bit, you know, inferior to everyone else, right away you'll even out the room. Right away you'll even out the room. If my team is listening, yes, and I do this, you know, for you guys, yeah? Well, you know, my team sometimes like, no, I don't know what to say. Say something positive about people. Saying it vocally is much, much harder. It's like second level. First level, think. Think positive thoughts about other people that you might meet or you're going to meet or you want to meet. Second level is to say it vocally. Third level is to actually be able to accept compliments. It's extremely beautiful from a human frequencies point of view. If you can accept compliments from people with open heart and love and not right away, oh, thank you so much, you also look beautiful. Like right away we want to return a compliment because we want to feel comfortable in our own shell, but there's no need, just say thank you. Yeah, it's good. And the next level is to compliment yourself because our frequencies are usually quite blocked. That's why we look different. No one here is wearing the exact same t-shirt. You know why? Because we're all wearing these shells and these masks. It's a lot easier to network. It's a lot easier to build a community of people if we have our own identity and our own brand, which is amazing. You know, if we were all walking around naked, which I'm not suggesting to anyone to do tonight. Yeah, baby, if you're listening to this, my wife is listening. Don't worry, we're not going nude here. But why did those people go into the nudist colonies and all that? Because there's nothing in between. You know, they're feeling very, very confident in their own shell. It's a lot easier probably to network within those communities. Never tried it yet. Probably not going to try it anytime. While I have the 1-pack, not a 6-pack, I'm not trying it anytime soon. I'm happy with my shell.
Look,
but there's a lot of depth to human frequencies. It just starts with our mind. Like networking doesn't start with an icebreaker. Networking starts in your mind and how you think about a person that's right around you or next to you or someone that you'd like to talk to.
So thank you. So one thing that's coming in a lot for me at the moment is, especially now, right, is about, you know, unity, right? So we're all, with Stephen Dossel, where are you? He's here somewhere. There you go. He did an interview with, what was her name? Recently. Susan Morris, right? And she's the founder and CEO of Belize Natural Energy, right? Yeah. And investor of XJet, which is the first or the largest, #1 private jet company in the world. Okay, so incredible, great interview, mate. And one thing which I loved about that interview was the fact that she said, look, at the end of the day, you know, we're all cells in the same body, right? So what does that mean? So for a while, different background. For those of you who know my story, great. For those of you who don't, it's okay. But I've got ridiculously close to understanding that unity is power, right? And disunity is weakness, okay? I don't mean that from a negative standpoint. I'm just saying as it flows.
Well, we can't
So-
do anything by ourselves.
There you go.
You cannot achieve anything alone.
Right. So then what I'm loving about what you're saying, and part of the reason why we do this Speak Up Monday, is that, because you see, if someone looks at you, depending on my background and where I've come from, I will relate to you differently to somebody else. That's why we have different guests every week. But the common denominator is that, right? That we're all different parts of the same, different cells in the same body, or cells in the same body. And what I love about it is that, you know, we can all learn that from each other and different people in a different way. Like your story is different, but it still carries through that same message, right? And I hear it again and again and again, and I love it. So thank you for that. Just want to bring that to the fore. So for those of you watching, we're at Tropical Nomad every Monday, 7 p.m. Speak Up Monday. Feel free to come here and join us in person. Come about 6:45, guys, not 7:01. Right?
Yes.
Thank you. 6:45, not 7:01, or join
These
us
people
on
get to
online.
network a little bit afterwards.
Yes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to. So if the audience here have got any questions, right, the next 5 minutes is going to be your time. So have a think. If there's any question that you have, no question is stupid or dumb, by the way, because sometimes we have this thought of like, I can't answer that question. It's just too stupid. At the end of the day,
Ask anything.
Exactly.
We like open questions.
Open questions.
As deep or intimate as you'd like it to be.
Exactly.
And it's easier, by the way, if you ask about yourself, not about me.
There
It makes
you go.
it easier for me to give you a better answer.
Cool. And the beautiful thing is that if you're feeling that question, someone else is also. So have the courage to say it, please, because you're helping not only yourself but other people. So,
And that's, by the way, scientifically proven. If at any given moment you have an idea, there's at least 7 people around you within an X amount of radius that are thinking about the exact same idea at the same time. As humans, our purpose should be to find those people and co-create. Not to create on our own, which is the biggest mistake we do as humans. We try to do things on our own. But you know very, very well that there's a lot of copies of you around the world. They look different, sound different, but they're an exact copy of you. They're going on the exact same journey. They're channeling the same thing. They're not, whatever ideas you have are not new. They're not special. Sorry. None of your ideas are special. They're just an extension of someone else. They're some morphosis of someone else. It's a mutation of something else. Yeah? So if you're thinking about something right now to ask, or if you're thinking about a comment, someone right next thinking about the exact same thing.
beautiful.
Which is really beautiful. So you'll be adding, it's like, think about karma right now. You'll be adding value to other people around you if you have the courage to ask.
Wonderful.
Let's start with question number 1.
So remember, repeat the question.
Oh, you will repeat the question.
I'll repeat the question
Yes.
so the guys can hear it. Okay, so one question
Got a
first, darling.
question.
Yes. I have a pleasant to know you like already 2 years, like even not personally, like for most of those time. But yeah, the question is, do you use any tool to save all those like networking contacts? Because networking is so huge, and in such different fields, you also connect with such like plenty people. Do you use really any tool then to connect those people to into
All right.
I'm very curious because some
I get it.
All
I
right.
get the question.
All right. So we'll do one question at a time. So being that you have a great deal of experience in networking, and this lady, what's your name, darling? Anna. Pleasure. Thanks for asking the question. Anna's asking, are there any tools that you use to network and to connect with all different types of people?
So I would first of all say that those tools I learned when I lived in your country. So that's the next decade of my life in Russia.
Yeah.
In Russia, I understood a lot more about networking, and it's because I became a teacher. I became a professor. One of the leading management schools there called SpeakuP asked me to come in and teach a class about networking, and I had no idea what do you do. I don't know. I don't know how to teach networking. Well, they're like, well, you're pretty good at it compared to everyone we know. I learned that there's actually systems to my madness, and it took me many, many years to learn how to give structure to what it is that I do. I'm an artist. Yeah, I'm not the systems guy. I'm not the manager in the business. I'm the artist in the business, which means that everything I do out of intuition. I do from an open heart. I do also willing to fuck up. Sorry.
Good.
Sorry.
Let it go, man.
Well,
Let it
I
go.
don't know. Yeah.
Let it flow, baby.
But I'm willing to do it. So I've been willing to really mess up with networking from an early stage. And I only learned it by going on so many bad dates and so many bad relationships that I've learned that it's okay. So that's the first thing. Like, Don't worry about missing some people's names and not calling them on their birthday or not following up on time. If you let that go, it becomes a little bit easier because you don't have to manage the whole network. What you need to really manage is the first circles of your network. And I'll try to give this to you in the shortest period of time. One, audit your network. You need to know who's around. Who's in your first circle, second circle, start with that. First and second circle is about 20 people, 22 people if you want to be exact. There's a science behind it, and I'm not going to get into that right now. The third circle becomes a lot bigger. But if you can understand who's in your first two circles right now, you can actually understand a lot about how you network. Do you know all their names? Do you know if they're married or not? Do you know if they like to drink water or whiskey or vodka or wine? Do you know when their birthdays are? Do you know where they work? Do you know what they do? Do you know if you've added value to them in the last 3 months? And if you haven't, you can know that I'm not really good at what I'm doing right now. You could start marking everyone who's listening is an amazing networker. You're all amazing networkers. Now, I could show you slowly where you could improve. Yeah? Like on my best days of networking, I'm a 6 out of 10. My best days. I've written a book about it. I've been on the cover of many magazines as a networking guru. But the more I study it, the more I realize, oh my God, I don't know anything and I'm really bad at this stuff. Yeah? So the systems that you can use is, first of all, start with like 20, 30 people and seeing how much value you're adding to them. Have I introduced them to anyone recently? Have I added a book? Have I invited them? Like, how many people did you invite to tonight's event? Think about any of you. Do you show up places alone, or do you always try to invite an entourage with you? Because you're adding value to them. And you're also adding value to the people at the event because you're connecting people. Have you recommended books recently? I love recommending books, even though I don't read a lot of books, but I listen to books. I listen to, I don't know, 5 to 10 books a week. Blinkist. Yeah, Blinkist, books in 15 minutes. It doesn't really matter which CRM system you use. You could use the default system in your phone. It doesn't really matter. The whole idea of a CRM system is the way CRM, yeah, customer relation management, but they're not customers. That's actually contact relationship management. It should be. It shouldn't be a customer, but it's a contact. You know, contacts are good enough. And if you can manage your contacts by knowing more than their name and phone number, it's a really good start. So one of my habits, which by the way is all you need, networking is not a set of tools. Networking is a set of habits that you're born with, and then you can either improve in life or you could stay neutral. Yeah, you're not actually getting worse than networking ever in your life. You can either improve or stay the same. Babies network, kids network. Teach you, how many of you have kids? Really? Just 3 of us?
No, there's more, okay. There's more.
Well, yeah, how many of you have kids? Teach your kids how to network. Yeah. You know, teaching kids how to network is extremely important. My kid's a 2-year-old and 4-year-old. For my 4-year-old's birthday, I sat with her and taught her the word networking. She understands what is networking. Networking, she will tell you, is talking to strangers. Networking is, for her, is sharing. Networking is making new friends. She's 4 years old. She needs to understand the basics of networking. So for you as networkers, you can consider how often do you follow up with people? Using WhatsApp voice message, a 30-second voice message to follow up with 10 new people every single day that you haven't spoken to in 3 months is extremely powerful. Yeah? Learning how to recommend to people, how to give to people, how to invite people, how to host things at your house. During COVID, we have hosted mastermind dinners at our house every week. You've been there, you've been there, you've been there. That's it, I think, yeah?
There's a few more to come.
Yeah. So maybe some of you have been there. You know, I host mastermind, like online digital ones every single week. I've been like talking and launching masterminds for the last 5 years all over the world. It's a great way to bring people. And many people show up for free. Why? Because I'm adding value to them. Not because I'm adding value just to them. Because I know if I invite you to my mastermind, you'll be adding value to the collective.
That's right.
You know, and that's what I believe in, the collective genius. Yeah. So there's all these little set of habits that you can improve in your networking in order for you to constantly improve. I know 101 different habits that I can still improve to become better. I know people who are much better than me at networking because there's a lot of complexities of networking that I can improve on, from personal branding to online networking to offline networking to follow up with people to the way you profile just looks to your picture on Instagram and your picture on Facebook and your picture on WhatsApp. There's so much complexities to it. But one of the biggest things I could tell you, all of you who are listening online, offline, if you right now adjust the way you network, and you improve the network that you have around you, everything will be okay.
Got it. So that
Literally, everything will be okay and better in your life.
So that's number one. Second question.
Wait. Can we go to someone else for the second question? We'll come back to you. I promise.
We got one here. Is it a quick question?
Yes, quick question.
I don't give quick answers.
Yeah.
Go on, give it.
Because do you like my answers? I give complex answers because I learned this one from Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
When he does a question and answer with someone, he gives an answer that's useful for everyone. So I'd like to come back to you.
You're the guest. You choose.
Yeah.
You're up.
Question.
So this question is about networking with people that you don't necessarily meet with on a frequency. I think you were talking about that before. I'm very good at talking to someone that instantly I'm like, okay, I know I can get on with you, so I'm very good at conversing and asking questions.
Yeah.
But on the reverse, if there's someone who's not really like giving me anything back, it's really difficult to try and network with them.
All right.
How would I approach that?
All right.
And if approaching it is good or bad, like should I approach that person or should I continue networking with them if they're not giving me anything back? Or like,
Yeah, we got it.
How would I do it?
All right.
Yeah.
So question is, gentleman saying that when you network with people that you've got a vibe with, that you know you're going to get along with, easy. But if there's someone who's giving you nothing back, no vibe, no like, oh, I can get along with these people. Number one, how can I break the ice? Number two, should I even bother? Right? Okay. There you go.
So, when you're looking at situations like that, first of all, every situation is different. You could be the situation at a friend's house party. You could be a situation in a big event with lots of people. The person in front of you, what they wear and how they look makes a big difference as well. Are they on the phone or are they holding onto their phone? If they're holding onto their phone and they're not making conversation, walk away from them because their mind is not there. Their mind is somewhere else. They're waiting for their phone to vibrate in order to disconnect from you, which means maybe they're just using this time with you for a few minutes until their phone vibrates. Worst thing to hold in your hand when you're networking. Yes, please. Ladies, don't hold your bags when you're networking. Yeah? The worst thing a woman could do is hold her bag in one hand and a drink in another hand. Yeah? Because she looks like she's about to box you. Open hands. Put your phone somewhere. Put your bag somewhere. It's very, very powerful. Have open hands when you're networking with people. Sometimes if you feel that they don't want to network, sometimes it's them. Majority of the time, it's not them. It's you. Yeah? Because potentially the way you're feeling inside of what am I going to say to them? What should I talk to them about? Are they going to like me? What are they thinking about right now? Am I saying it right? Do I look good? We judge ourselves so much. We're usually just fucking ourselves up in the head. I'm sorry for swearing so much today. My wife, if you're looking at this, I'm sorry. I know you told me. We're doing all this stuff to our heads so much in our heads. It's really unhealthy. And I learned this one up. My biggest lesson was like 3 years ago, I walk into the Ritz Hotel in Moscow. I'm looking for my client. I'm walking in, I'm scanning the room, and I see my client at the end of the room, but he's not looking at me. But my head is telling me, the introvert inside, I'm an introvert, by the way, full introvert immigrant is telling myself, go to the client. But I'm early, client's not seeing me yet, and it's a Ritz Hotel, so scan the room. One of the greatest things you could do when you walk into any event, scan the room. Worst things that people do is they see a friend, they walk up to the friend. Don't do that. Worst thing, the second worst thing people do, do you know? They walk into the event, what do? Walk to the bar. Don't do that. Why do you need to walk? Scan the room, see the room, understand where's the toilets, where's the best place to stand. If you're an introvert, for example, stand next to a wall. If your back is to the wall, your energy levels will stay up. Yeah? So you kind of check out the place. And who do I see on my right? Steven Seagal. Now, the guy inside of me is saying, don't walk up to him. This is like he's busy. He's talking to the guy, the security guard, big guy next to him, big Russian guy. His name is probably Boris or something. Sorry to the Russians who are listening. He's a big guy. He looks scary, like don't walk up to him kind of thing. That's the introvert inside me is thinking like all this kind of shit in my head. Like, what are you going to say to him? Steven Seagal looks busy, talking to someone. All these things going. And that's not good because those frequencies are being sent out and their frequencies come back. Yeah. So frequency is like a sonar. Whatever you send out comes back right away. That's why karma works very, very quickly in Bali because of where we are in the world. Things just come back to us a lot faster. That's why plants and nature grows extremely well here. It grows frequencies out, frequencies in very, very, very quickly with nature. Same thing with us. Long story short with Steven Seagal, I ended up switching my mind. I said, come on, you're Gil Petersil. Come on, walk up to him. Like literally I'm talking to my head. And as soon as I say that, the other voice kind of quiets down, and I start to take walks. And suddenly, the security guard takes 2 steps towards me. And this voice starts, oh, shit, like, what are we going to say? Like, security guard, like, okay, walk away, Gil, walk away. Because you have that gatekeeper. You know that gatekeeper, when you call that one important guy and the secretary says, sorry, he's busy, who are you? You're like, okay, leave him a message. No, don't leave him a message. He's waiting for my phone call. Okay, you find a way to go through the gatekeeper. So I had to go through this big Boris guy, you know, sorry for all my Russian friends, maybe his name was not Boris, you know. But, you know, scary looking person. By the way, we're going to end this in 15 seconds.
Thank you, brother.
Sorry for everyone on Instagram. But the thing is with Steven Seagal, wow, we've been an hour already? I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. The thing is with Steven Seagal, that this guy was so big in front of him that Steven couldn't see me. So I pulled it like a cider. Like I actually literally did a quick side thing, and I literally remember this where I moved to the left, acting like I'm going to go to the left, and I literally like did this quick jump to the right. And I was like, and I got his attention, like, Steven, like, I'm like, I don't know, like 10 meters away, like, can I come and talk to you? Like, you know, non-verbal, can I come and talk to you? And he's like, yeah, come. And as I'm walking towards him, I give this grin to the Boris, you know. And it's like Boris did not like me at this point, really did not like me. But again, long story short, my mind is thinking all the time, he's busy, what are you going to say? If you're able to quiet out that mind, you're able to start a conversation with someone. You're able to quickly add value. You're able to quickly ask them good questions. And if you have a curious mindset, which I completely do, and you can actually create a curious mindset, it's just, you can Google it. How do I create a curious mindset? Yeah, and you could actually just turn that into a habit. You learn to ask people questions, and you learn to have an objective with those questions. So I managed to get his business card within less than 2 minutes. Even though I didn't want to ask him for a selfie because that would put me in an inferior position to him, how do I get a selfie? Like, Steven, my wife is your biggest fan. She's never going to believe I met you. My wife doesn't know who Steven Seagal is. Shit, sorry, Steven, if you're listening to this, man, I love you, man. No, I'm still connected with him. We chat on WhatsApp every once in a while. It's really awesome. But I told him my wife is a huge fan of it. She's never going to believe you. I met you. He's like, let's take a selfie. Who do I give my phone to? Boris. You know? Boris takes a selfie. Boris does not like me because the first picture was really, really bad. I was able to see, it was like shaking it. I was like, no, Boris, turn the phone over. Can you do another one? He really didn't like me at that point. But it's okay. I hugged Steven. It was cool. But it's in your head, man. Whenever you're talking to someone and you think they don't want to talk to you if they're bored, one, it's probably you. You're just nervous a little bit. You're not sure what to say. And if it is them, learn how to end conversations. Again, I can give you 10 different tips, but Google how to end conversations respectfully. You know, or just ask me later. I'll give you like top 10 tips on how do you end conversations and come back to them later. Because maybe their mind is not where it should be right now. Maybe just something just happened, man. Nothing to do with you. Maybe they just got fired. Maybe they have to fire someone in 5 minutes. Maybe they're not making any sales this month and not going to get their bonus, and you know their kid's not going to get that present they want for their birthday, man. You have no idea where that person's mind is right now. Don't blame them and don't blame yourself. Blame the situation. Yeah. Situation is not right. That's all.
All right. So.
What did you say to Steven? What was the icebreaker?
So there is no one icebreaker, but usually my icebreakers is all about a positive comment and an immediate question that would have a positive answer. Yeah? So my thing with Steven was like, wow, it's so great to see you. I didn't know that you show up in Moscow for personal reasons. You know, are you here teaching, are you here speaking at an event, or like, I usually just something positive, like, are you here like speaking in front of some high-level people or inspiring some young people?
Yeah,
that's something like that I said to him.
Nice question.
It's always very, are you here speaking in front of people, inspiring people, just something positive? Just
two good questions. Thank you for that one. So the first one is coming to you straight afterwards. How did you meet Tony Robbins? And the second is, how did you pivot after what happened?
After what happened when? Recently?
Recently.
How did I meet Tony Robbins? So I was 18 years old, and I saw an infomercial on TV, an infomercial on the web. I don't know if I was looking at porn or not, but it was somewhere random. It was like really, really random because I was not into personal development at all. I was 18 years old. It was a random job. I told you I was doing consulting with Walmart and logistics and all that. Something random. Tony Robbins popped up, listened to the infomercial, bought his CDs. For one reason, they said 30 days money back guarantee. I got the CDs, I copied them, and I returned them. Tony knows it, it's okay. I told Tony I was at his home. I was home last year, and I told him this joke, and not joke, I told him this fact, and he was laughing. And I listened to Tony a little bit, so I knew who Tony was for many, many, many years, and I listened to these set of 6 CDs. I used to listen to them again and again and again randomly at different times, so kind of life brought me up and down. Tony is really a magic maker, how to adjust your mindset, to believe in the impossible, to get yourself out of pain, to get yourself to battle pain, to get yourself out of any fears. Incredible man. And about 9 years ago, 8.5 years ago, I was in the worst place in my life. I had 9 different companies. All of them were not making me money. I was completely lost in life. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, was working in a bank making like, less than $1,000 a month. So for 6 months, I didn't pay rent. I lived on $20 a week. $20 a week. I don't know if any of you did that. It's very humbling and special. You learn how to make potatoes and rice in 20 different ways. Like, I was a gourmet chef at that stage. You learn how to use everything in the back of your freezer. You learn how to use everything in the closet, like in the cupboards, everything. Like, I can make you such gourmet meals out of sardines in a can and out of baked beans and gourmet meals. Just sprinkle some greenery on top and it looks good. No, I had to do that. There was no other option. And it happened to me because I realized that I didn't like most of the people around me. Yeah. Like, I loved them in some ways because they were nice people, but they were not my people. They were not my network. They were not my connections. They were successful in their own ways. They were happy to party and stuff, and they were happy to do things that something didn't fit, but they were my best friends at the time. And I went through a massive downfall, depression. Today, I'm able to go through that in 2 weeks. Like, I'm able to help people go through a reset of their network very quickly because I know where the pain points are. But after a few months, one of my friends, Steven, if you're looking at this, I love you, man. But Steven Carbone, he knows, man. He knows he did this. He told me, why don't you go to a Tony Robbins event and stuff? And long story short, I understood that becoming a promoter, I could show up for free because I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford the event. And then I understood, oh, shit, I don't have money for the flight. I don't have money for the hotel. So I understood if I sold 20, I could become a promoter, and I can come for free with my wife. And if I sold 5 more, I would have just enough money to get to London and to live in London and to eat for 5 days. That's it. We sold 25 tickets. My wife and I, we had no idea how do you sell tickets to a Tony Robbins event when you know nothing about it. You haven't been to the events before. It's the first event I'm going to offline. You don't know anything about educational tourism. You don't know how to take people to a different country. You don't know anything about, you don't know anything about it. It's just hustle. You figure it out. You have no choice. And yeah, so we brought 25 people, and we got inspired, and we did some crazy things. And the year after, we brought 200 people, and it jumped the next year of 400 people. And then I went deep into networking, strategic partnerships. I really went deep into my studies, and I went to 1,200 people the next year for one event. That's like 2 planes and 5 hotels, and we became the biggest partner, the biggest regional partner in the world for Tony Robbins, beating all the other. It's true, beating all the other promoters around the world, and that was quite weird moment. And that moment, Tony already knew who we were, and it wasn't the first time we met him, but the first time I met him is when we brought 300 people to his event, and all my networking lessons went down the garbage. Everything I'm telling you, I did not remember. I was mumbling. I was talking like literally like this.
Everyone's got that person, man.
Oh my God, he was laughing at me. And Liz, come on, Gil, I've heard you're good at networking. Because at that stage, and if you guys are listening to this, it's true. At that stage, Tony's family members and Tony's business community, like his leading business community and his team, knew exactly who Gil Petersil was. Because I've learned that in order to get into someone's in order to get to someone, you need to do it the smart way and get into their network first. So by the time Tony met me, he knew exactly who I was. His people told him. I met his wife before I met him. I know his brother-in-law. Scott, if you're watching this, I love you, man. I met, his brother-in-law before, and it was a humbling moment for me because this guy has been a savior. He's been a second parent to me. He's been like, this kind of person who's been guiding me for so many years by audio CDs, and suddenly meeting him, but because I've added value to him. So I felt good. had no idea what to say to him. I had no idea what to ask. Mumbling, and the only thing that came out of my mouth is, and at the time I was living in Russia, but this event was in London, is how do I get you to come to Russia? And how do I share the stage with you? And that was a really, really cool moment of my life. That was 2015. He said to me, well, if you invite me, I'll come. And I don't know how, but I said to him, give me 3 years, and in 2018, you're coming to Russia. And I'm the one introducing you to the Russian audience. Let's do it, man. He gave me a big, that was a very special moment. Since that, I met him many, many times in the hotel room and talking, like, so we know each other well. Middle of 2008, 2018, Tony Robbins came to Russia, hosted the biggest event of his life. 6,000 people.
Wow.
Really cool. And I am the one that kind of brought him on. I didn't get all 26,000 people myself. Know that we got some amazing partners, and this other local university really helped us out. We couldn't have them, but it was a massive, magical moment to do that, man.
Why? So you became the best promoter for Tony Robbins globally. Why? How did that happen? What was in your mind?
So first of all, I had amazing mentors. Company that represents Tony internationally is a company called Success Resource. If you guys are listening, a lot of guys, they've been really good mentors. They were telling me a lot of what I've done, and I also was noticing what people were doing wrong. And I love learning from people's mistakes. And so 3 things. I was learning from people as possible, as quickly as possible. While learning, I was teaching as much as possible. Doing right, I was teaching others right away. I believe in karmic partners. You want to achieve anything in your life, find 1 or 3 people who want to achieve the same thing, and make sure they succeed before you do. That's always been my thing. If any of you want to achieve, if any of you want to hire a marketing director right now, let me know. If any of you want to make an extra $1 million in the next 6 months, let me know. And if any of you want to find a good CEO for one of your new companies, let me know. I'll do everything I can to make you successful. But those are 3 things I really want to do again for the next 3 months.
One was that, number 2?
Yeah, number 2 for me was trial and error. A lot of pivots, man. A lot of pivots. Pivot. Try this. This didn't work. Try this. Let's try this. Let's try that. Like, try everything you can to do what has not been done. Because everyone always told me, no. I can't say which country was like there was one country. There's actually a few of you here from that country who was always number 1. Always number 1. Sorry, I'm not going to say who you are because you were not really nice in the beginning, but they were not nice. They would not share what they're doing. Like, we're like, but you're in a different country. We're not competitors. Share. They would share what their strategy is. So I did the opposite. As soon as I got things right, I shared everything I can with all the other countries because they're not competitors. Let us model each other as much as possible. And that year that I beat them, and they came to me and congratulated me. I said, listen, if you want, I'm happy to sit for lunch. I'd love for you next year to do better than I did this year. And the next year, they did better than I did that year. Well, they did better than I did that year.
That last year.
I did double. I went from 1,200 to 3,000. And they did like 1,300.
Got it.
So they did much better than ever done before. They went, the maximum they went on was 700 people to one event. And I helped them jump, maybe I don't know if I did, maybe I didn't. You guys did it, of course, but I gave them everything we've done. Take it, please. You're doing it in a different country. But because of that, I believe we jumped so much higher. And the third thing for me is my understanding that there's no point in keeping a big chunk of the pie for ourselves. So we started building all these regional partners everywhere and gave them most of our margins. And I just kept a little bit.
Love it.
So today I believe in setting up businesses and running businesses where I don't need to own the whole business. I'm happy. If anybody look for business partners, I'm a good business partner. If you're a good manager out there listening to me, please, I need good managers. Please. If you love managing things, not the best manager. I'm a really good artist. I'm a really good entrepreneur.
Got it.
So I did that. I found people who were really good at things we were not.
Yes. Got it. Thank you. One big question, and then you guys goes back to you. So you built a multi-million-dollar company, right?
Yes.
Which was events, major partner for Tony Robbins and a whole bunch of...
We called it edutainment. Or educational tourism.
Beautiful. Now, multi-million-dollar, killing the game, get the words out, and then COVID happened, right? And overnight, went
from 7 digits to 4 digits.
Okay. Now, what did you do?
That's a very humbling moment.
Yeah.
When you have a big team.
All right.
Very humbling moment. Mom, if you're listening to this.
So what did you do? Because you obviously pivoted, but take us through that whole process, how it happened, and what you
First
did.
48 hours, I locked myself in the yoga chalet in Ubud.
Yeah.
And I can't say this on live, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't say what I did. I'll tell you guys after.
Yeah.
But
Humbling.
I called, so except for doing that thing I'll tell you guys after.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I'm not going on live with this. I called people who I knew were good at innovation and creativity.
Yeah.
And I asked them what's going on. What do you, like in completely different businesses.
Yeah.
Completely. This is something I learned from Jay. How many of you guys know Jay Abraham? #1 guy in the world when it comes to business strategy, by far. Jay, if you're listening to this, I love you, man. Haven't spoken to you in a few weeks. So Jay has always taught me, if you're going in one direction in a business and something's not working out, what most people do is they try to model other people in the same industry or the same business, which is the worst mistake. Because if my business stopped, probably everyone else's business at event stopped as well. Look at other people in completely different businesses and see how they're innovating and see how they're modeling and what are they doing to step out of that lane. Very, very quickly I did that, and very quickly we decided a few things. #1, we're not giving up.
Yeah.
So we're not going bankrupt. Very easy to go bankrupt when you got millions of dollars in liabilities, because events are in the future. So you're planning events in the future. So I got thousands of people bought tickets in the future.
Yeah.
Suddenly, if 1,000 people want a refund of a $2,000 business, a $2,000 ticket, that's like suddenly a couple of $1,000 that you're gonna, a couple of $1 million you're gonna give away.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for any of that.
Yeah.
So #1, we're not giving up. We're not going bankrupt, because a lot of people in our industry went bankrupt in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
Many. #2, review the values of the company and right away audit the team and let go of anyone who doesn't share those values, because they will not help us through this difficult time. Very quickly, I kind of knew, talking to a lot of my friends, I don't know if you guys knew, COVID was not going to be a 2-week thing. I knew this is going to be, I told my wife, it's going to be months or years right now. We're going into an epidemic. That's why, like, you know, we're going into something horrible. The world is not going to be ever the same. Get rid of anyone in the team with as much love as possible that will not help us go through difficult times. And #3, choose what's important for our life. So we chose not to go back to Singapore. I love Singapore. If you're listening, I love Singapore, an amazing place. But we chose not to go back to our home in Singapore.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, beautiful home, brand new home, just a couple of years. Imagine you buy everything in a home, everything brand new, everything. We don't buy Bali stuff in Singapore. You buy Singapore stuff, you know. Table like this is like $3,000 in Singapore. In Bali, you can get $500, you know, even cheaper. But everything, we bought everything, and we had to choose not to go back to our home and choose to stay in Bali for the COVID. And only a couple of months ago, we decided to let go of our home. And imagine, for the second time in 1 year, I let go of everything I own. Let go, I mean, give away. Everything you own. I did it a year ago, and last summer I did it in Moscow.
Yeah.
We let go of our home in Moscow, giving away everything that you own. Well, 99.5%. I kept four bags, boxes, you know. Giving away everything to people and charities of everything you've owned for 10 years. Everything. And now I'm in the process of doing it again in Singapore. If any of you have friends in Singapore, a charity, you know, I have still a lot of things in my home. And everything is like, you don't have junk. It's, you know, minimalist, but you still have everything for a family with kids, giving everything away. It's actually so much harder than I ever thought to give things away for free. Yeah. Like really, like a $3,000 bed. Can't get rid of it. Good bed. Baby crib, clothing. My wife had like super clothing, you know? People are like, no, we don't want to, I'm not sure we're going to take it. Why not? Take it, give it to a charity, give it to someone. Like, can you deliver it? Like, what do you mean, can you deliver it? I'm giving you all this stuff for free. So to me, that's the 3 things we decided to do, just let go of things. Like, because we knew that COVID was going to put us in this uncomfortable situation. As soon as you could let go of things, you could feel more flexible. And as soon as I felt more flexible, I started working out. I got a guy kicking my ass 3 to 5 times a week for the last few months, coming to my ass, really hurting my body. And in order to understand that I'm really worked out, and how many of you walked up Agung? Yeah, those of you who are not around, walked up Agung last weekend just to see if my body has really been able to work out. So this one little ab did its job, walked up a volcano just to make sure, to prove to myself, you know, that I could do it.
Now let me just stop you there. So the next question is coming. There's a guy called Chris Robb. Who knows Chris Robb? Stephen, you do. Anyone else know Chris
We're
Robb?
just randomly talking here because you're with us. I love this.
So Chris Robb is an amazing guy. He's South African, sold his first company to Iron Man, became known as Iron Man throughout the world. Second thing he did, he was race director for the Singapore Marathon for 10 years, 60,000 runners, 1,500 cyclists. Next thing he did, create a company called Mass Participation Asia, that's now called Mass Participation World, is a backbone to the mass participation industry globally. So this guy is extremely well connected, a beautiful human being. When all this happened, similar to you, everything overnight gone, right? So what he did was really smart, and I love the story. He said, you know what? What has happened, there's nothing I can do about it, right? Nothing I can do about it. You know what I can do, me personally? You know, I can surrender and serve. Surrender
Exactly, man.
and serve, right? What this guy did then is that he did 5 webinars a week.
Yeah, oh yeah,
right?
man.
To his whole industry, brought his whole industry
Masterminds
together.
every day to serve others, of course,
Right?
man. Of
Bang,
course.
bang, 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 bang. 600 people on his calls. The biggest mass participation movement. Redundant leaders in every country all tuned in to his Zoom calls. Now on the other side, the guy's got more work
Karmic management,
than
man.
he's ever
Serve
done.
others when you
So-
need to be served. Of
So,
course.
my brother, I know the answer, but I want you to give us your
Tell
thing.
me.
So, when the same thing happened to you, we've been through what did you do in Ubud, the thing you can't tell us, you tell us later, and this one here. But what was next? What was your mindset? So, with Chris, it was surrender to serve.
So for me, it was, again, letting go of things was a really important thing because the more I had on me, the heavier it would be. Because I knew I was stepping into a journey. Like walking up a volcano, when you're taking the first few steps and you know you got a couple of 1,000 meters to go up and then you have to come back down, the first few steps are not easy, man, because like, should I give up? Should I give up? So the first thing I did is like decide not to give up. I'm not giving up. Whatever comes my way, whatever storms comes my way, not giving up. Second thing is, to me, is see if there's anyone in my community who needs more help than I do right now. And I reached out to people who I love, man, people who I knew were going through much more difficult times than I was, people who I knew I can help, people I knew I can innovate, I could support them. And right away, I started just allocating some time to talk to them as much as possible. And the third thing I did is I started to do charity projects here. We started to do projects here, and you know, for the locals, I'll invite you guys after.
That's amazing.
But projects, you know, it's just charity projects here to help people who are in extreme poverty. Like, you know, I'm very, very grateful that I'm still making good money to live very comfortably. I'm still making money to pay salaries as much as we can every single month. Still serving our clients, but we're climbing back up healthier. And my objective is times bigger than what I was 6 months ago in 6 months.
Got it, brother. Thank you. Respect. Yeah. Respect. So now, guys, got a few more questions. Bella, take some stories. Go for it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bella. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question. How to better manage my network with like people who are high in society, more power, more wealthy. It's like how to, like I'm easily connected, but then how to manage, how to contribute, how to add value to them, to like billionaires, to like celebrities, to like people with power, politicians, and etc.
All right, so we'll repeat the question, right? So, Vasily is asking, how do you add value to people in your network who are all sorts of colors of the rainbow, from billionaires to celebrities?
Much higher level
I did the
people,
much higher level people than yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that clarification.
So it's a really good question. It's actually a very popular question that I get in some cultures. Some cultures who believe in that society is in different levels finds it very difficult to network higher. There is the easy answer and there's the hard answer. Which one do you want? Both. So the easy answer is take some time every single day and go sit next to a homeless person on the street and talk to them for 10, 15, 20 minutes, as long as you want. You want to network high, network low. I did that actually a lot in England. When I was bored with no friends and anything, I used to actually, there was a cafe, like one of these like beautiful cafes next to, in actually the building near my office. And every day I saw that they were throwing out all these sandwiches and croissants at the end of the day because if they wouldn't sell it. So I agreed with him that I would buy all of them every single day at the end of the day, but I would buy it, you know, much, much cheaper. I didn't have much money. I would buy those, and I would buy fruits and water in the supermarket. And as I was walking towards the underground, the tube, the metro in England, I didn't have money for a taxi or anything. I already knew these people, and I would sit with them for a few minutes and talk to them about anything. It's, again, really good speed networking, about anything. And I learned to network with really, really low-level people. And it's not really low-level people. It's just in society, many people will see someone who is homeless is beneath them. Maybe you here are not, and everyone who's listening, you're all angels, of course, you know. But unfortunately, in Western society, a homeless person is beneath some people. They would rather network with a billionaire than they would with a homeless person. But I put myself in a position where, one, I didn't know any billionaires. I didn't know how to network with high-level people either at that stage. So I was like, I might as well serve. I didn't have that strategy in my mind. I didn't understand what I was learning at the time. I just wanted to help. It was just nice. I was walking every day next to homeless people, and I was like, I couldn't give them all money. I was like, I might as well give them food. But what I learned, that I was able to hold a conversation with anyone about anything. Yeah. And then that came up a few times in my life where I met the CEO of like a massive company. I didn't know he was CEO, but I was just curious. So if you're curious with someone, you're asking really, really good questions, and you're willing to learn from them, and you're really willing to learn, and you don't want to talk too much, you want to listen to them more. Like, you don't want to do what I'm doing today. Today I'm doing more talking than you do. Mistake, you know? But if we were having a different sort of event today and I was listening to you a lot more, you'd find it easier to network with me, a lot easier. So I did that with homeless people in the beginning, and that really helped me out. And then I started networking with anyone and any situation, and that really helped me here when I met an incredible, very, very humble man. Some of you know him, Era One. He's the king of Karambatan. When I met him at an event, I didn't know who he was. He's a very, very powerful person in this country. But I met him. It was really humbling. It was very beautiful. He talked to me. He asked me some nice questions. I asked him some nice questions. He even gave me his phone number. And 5 minutes later, they introduced him as the main guest of honor at the event. Same thing happened to me when I met Richard Branson. I knew I was going to meet Richard Branson, so I did my research. So if you know you're going to meet someone famous and you know you want to build a good rapport with him, do your research on what's important for them to talk about at that moment. And don't treat them like they're a higher level than you. One of the biggest mistakes people do, especially in some cultures, including your culture, people network with status in their mindset. You are richer, I will talk to you this way. Oh my, teach me, give me, let me suck on your tit of wisdom. Yeah, that is a massive mistake because they could learn from you as well. Yeah, but unfortunately, many, many people act this way. Like, you are better, you have made more money, you are more successful, but they're not. They go to the bathroom the same way as you do. They change diapers of the kids the same way as you do. They appreciate food in the same way as you do. If you can add value to them by asking them good questions and listening, by showing them that you've learned something from them and you've applied it and you really appreciate it, by giving them some value. The easiest value that I was able to bring Richard Branson within 30 seconds of meeting him is being relevant to him in that moment, where everyone else in the room was treating him like a guru. Teach us, give us answers. I was just adding value to him because I read 3 articles before I walked into that room, understanding what was important for Richard Branson that moment of his life. And that's exactly what I said. And I came from a position of, how can we help you? And it wasn't even me. I was speaking on behalf of everyone in the room. And I said, how can we in this room help you go through this challenge that you're going through right now that I just read in an article half an hour ago? But it's like no one else read these articles apparently, or they weren't bringing relevancy into his life. That's the easiest way to connect with high-level people. Listen to them, bring relevancy in their life, and know that you can add value.
So one thing I want to be really clear on is that, so for you, because when you say networking to me, right, something in my mind maybe have a different idea of what networking is. But what you're saying is that networking at its source is about adding value to other people.
Networking at its core, it's learning how you could be a better tool for people that you meet.
Got it.
And in England, I know being a tool is very funny for the British people here.
Tool is different.
Yes, I know. Be a tool is being stupid. People say to you, don't be a tool. But it actually has some depth to that. It's okay to be vulnerable with people that you're coming from a position of I'd like to serve you, even though I don't know how.
Okay, got it.
So actually the whole idea of being a tool, like there's a very famous picture that I show on my presentation of a Swiss Army knife. To understand which tool can I be right now to be most useful to you at this moment. And the Swiss Army knife is fully open, meaning I am fully open and ready to serve you. So I'll be asking questions. I'll be trying to figure out. I'm not going to say, hey, how can I help you? Nice to meet you. How can I help you? That's weird. But you can ask people specific questions about, what they're up to these days, or what's the biggest focus you have, and what sort of challenges have you gone through during COVID, for example, or what kind of priorities do you have in your business right now? It's a very easy question to ask someone. What's important for you right now that we should be talking about? And if we spend a few minutes talking about that, then I will be relevant to you in this moment, and then I will understand what kind of a tool I could be for you, and then you would like me more, which means you might introduce me to someone else. Suddenly you've come into my network and I've plugged you in. As soon as I've plugged you in, you're there. You're good. Now you're in my network. Otherwise, if I'm just blah, blah, blah with you, you're just a pod that came into, you're a part of energy that came near my energy, and then you walked away. That's why people don't stay in touch. Just by taking someone's phone number and saying, let's connect on Facebook, you're not actually adding them to your network. That's a virtual network. It's not a real network. You need to truly stay in touch. You need to invite them to events. You need to somehow add value to them 7 different times in a period of time for them to actually truly join your network.
What's your biggest challenge right now?
Finding a marketing-minded executive that wants to become my business partner in the educational online business that we have, because it's not tourism, but it'll come back to tourism. But all this partnership that I have with Tony Robbins, if anybody is listening, especially in the Russian market, it's a massive business with a massive community and huge opportunities. I just need someone who's really marketing-minded, who wants to kind of take over that business, and someone who wants to help Bali. If you want to come and help us, we're doing a lot of things to help Bali right now.
Got it. And this has been the last of this question. But personally, what's your biggest challenge right now? That's business. Personally, what's your biggest challenge right now?
That is personal, because my business is my baby. It's my first baby before my other 2 kids. It's our baby. My company's called Meet Partners. My wife and I believe in this baby so much. It's a part of who I am. It's a part, like a business to me is a part of who you are. It's an extension of your values. It's an extension of how you speak and how you are and how you perceive the world and the values that you portray onto the world. So for me, it's completely personal, because letting it down is I'd be letting people in the community down, and that's me. That is my brand. And everything that I'm doing here for charity, it's not business. It's 100% giving, in order to feel comfortable to live in a country where, 1, I know I'm serving. So I'm not serving the army, but I'm serving the country. And number 2, I'm avoiding having poverty around me. I don't want to have poverty around. I want to have wealth around me. I want to have prosperity around me. You want prosperity in your life? Create prosperity around you. I want everybody in Bali to be healthy and happy and wealthy in some way. That's the only way I could do that, is to help.
Got it, brother. Thank you, my man. Respect.
Thank you. Had fun. We went way over time, huh?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if you're listening online, I don't know who you are is listening. I'm sorry I haven't paid you attention. I don't know who you guys are, but lots of love. You guys all online, you're cool, you're awesome. You're cool for being here. I like you guys. We're going to give you guys a little bit more attention, I promise.
So look, we're going to have just a few more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Anna, I'm going to let this beautiful man. What's your name, brother?
Chris.
Pleasure, brother. So I know we're supposed to meet the other night.
Chris?
What's your question, brother?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of love in this topic.
Yeah.
What is the thing that made you fall in love with networking?
A lot of love on this topic. Chris asked, so what was the thing that made you fall in love with networking?
Yeah. So there's actually not a lot, there's actually a lot of pain as well, because networking has a lot of pain in it. Yeah, you need to push people away out of your network. Some people are going to suck your energy. Some people are not good for you right now, even though they are good people. I'm talking about friends and family. Just because you were born into a family does not mean that family belongs in your life at any given moment. And it might be me, and I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this, but I've already told it to her face multiple times. Sometimes you need to create space between people in your network in order for you to flourish. It's the same thing, for example, I've recently learned about permaculture. So my whole garden at home is a garden now that you can eat. And I've learned that some plants suck the energy of the ground so much that other plants would not live really well next to them. We are the exact same way. Just because that friend has been a good friend in your life does not mean that friend should be in your life at this moment. Unfortunately, they might suck your energy too much, and if you don't know how to manage your energy, which most people don't, I've had to learn it, and I'm still at this level. Being in Bali, you could really learn a lot about energy management, and especially if you're into sound healing, you could learn a lot about the tone of the voice. Tone of the voice is actually a major part of networking. Major, a lot more than the words that come out of your mouth. Yeah?
I want to rephrase the question. What made you fall in love? Not with
I'm getting there, yeah.
Make sure I said it right.
No, I'm getting there. Understanding that in order to go through life, achieve more things, grow, flourish, build a network, you need to go through the pain. And when you go through the pain with love, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to create some space with someone with love. Not to disconnect, but to actually let them know maybe something that they could do that can help them out. To actually like support them to create space from you. For me, it was easier than to go through the painful moments that I had to initially, where it's like, how do you make friends? How do you like stay in touch? I used to feel guilty not showing up in a different city for people's birthdays. When I did Moscow, for example, London for almost 2 years, I had 2 homes and 2 groups of friends. And I used to be feel guilty to go. Now I don't. Now I'm sorry, you can't keep track of everyone. So for me, the love is, one, understanding that there is nothing in my life that I have ever achieved on my own. So that means that there's nothing in my life that I will ever achieve. Any of you can argue that after if you want to. I challenge you to challenge me. Nothing in your life you have ever done on your own. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Which means if you reverse engineer life, everything that you want to achieve is going to come from people. If you come towards them with love, you'll get a lot more in your life. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to come into networking with this purity and this attracting, because you'll have really, really good quality people. And even though I go through some, I don't want to say shit people, but people in shit situations, so you feel not so nice on them because they're not mean. There's no one bad in the world. Even that guy that did some really bad thing in that country that killed a lot of people, I don't want to say his name or whatever, all those people, yeah, they maybe had a really bad childhood. That's it. Maybe no one hugged them. I don't know their childhood. I don't care about their childhood, but you could learn that anything that happens in your life, if negativity comes in, it's because of the situation that person was in that moment, and maybe you just met them in that moment for you to learn something. So I try to come into these situations, and it's not love, it's openness, it's curiosity. I don't think I come into love into networking. Networking is reality. Networking is what it is. There is no avoiding it. There is no, I like networking, I don't like networking. You network every single day whether you like it or not. You're either good at it or you're not so good at it. That's really what it is. I'd rather come with it completely open because I'm like, the next person I meet can completely change my life, and that excites me.
Thank you, my brother. Great question. Anna, last question. All right, girl, get it out. Get it out, Anna. Let's go, girl.
Yeah, my question is like, when you meet so lots of people and they do understand you, and like, I'm so thankful for sharing. And then, how do you understand what are criteria you go deeper with this person to become partner, or it's just like shallow or some like 10 circle of conversation, or this person will become first circle. So how do you differentiate? How do you really recognize these diamonds?
Yeah, that's, go ahead. That's a
So,
difficult one.
question, Anna, was basically about when you meet someone, how do you know they're going to be surface level, deep, next business partner?
Yeah.
How do you know where it can go?
Anna used the word criteria. Wrong choice of words. We're human. So intuition plays a big role. Yeah. The frequencies that you're ready to project onto other humans is truly what you will get back. So if you're feeling really, really good, go out and network. If you feel sick and a little bit not so good, stay home and watch a comedy. Like, laugh. Laugh.
Shift your energy.
Please don't push yourself to go out networking when you are not resourceful. Really, really important choice of words. I've understood that one of my superhuman powers, I'm extremely resourceful. I can give you answers for anything that you need in life. If I don't know it, I will find it very quickly. I'm very resourceful in most situations in life because I've put myself in a lot of those situations. And it might not always be good, but at least I have an answer. I'm not stuck. I have an answer. So when it comes to meeting people, I don't have a criteria. There isn't a perfect system, even though, again, it's in my book. There's a networking funnel. There are systems and 7 different levels to understanding where a person could be. But I've actually reviewed that whole, everything I've written in my first book, I've completely reviewed, and it's in my second book. And the second book is unfortunately not published because I'm lazy a little bit. But I could send it to you. The second book is more about the tunnel of life. So I don't believe in a funnel because I understand it, but most people don't. Most people think if it's a funnel, it means that people need to get to this level of like the best friend or the best partner of everything. But actually, it's actually a tunnel. So even in a funnel, you can choose to put people at different levels. You can upgrade them or downgrade them if you feel that right now at this point of your life, this is a person that you could best serve. This is a person that believes in you, that wants to serve you. This is a person that inspires you right now. There's billions of people in the world. Why those 20 people in your life are still in your life? Like why? Why are you not going out to events and saying, I'm going to make space for a couple of new people in my life? Because we don't have that much space. The average human being actually builds relationships, any kind of relationships, whether it's 5 minutes or more, with 7,200 people on average. That's it. Yeah? I chose to multiply that a lot more to give myself better chances of meeting the love of my life, meeting the best partners, meeting the most incredible human beings. Like my podcast, it's written the Collective Genius Code. It's very simple. I interview the most outstanding human beings in the world. Soon him as well. Yeah, that's very simple. And I meet the most outstanding people. But you know how many people I've had to meet that were not? And I didn't always get it right. I might have met someone that was like an amazing human being, but maybe I was not in the right state of mind, or maybe they were not in the right state of mind, so we didn't just click. So I would say a good approach is, if you're resourceful and you're feeling good energy, to walk in and give them 5 minutes. Ask them a couple of questions and let them speak. Allow them to share. Allow them to speak from the heart. Remember that most people have not learned how to network. So most people sometimes speak too much, and all they're actually telling you is, please like me. When you go to a networking event and people talk too much, it's not because they're selling themselves. It's because no one has ever taught them how to network. So you could look at it as a system, if you want to create a system out of it, of everyone I meet is a stranger, and if I meet them, they become a connection. If I stay in touch with them, they become a contact. If I truly allocate more time to them, as that I meet them for lunch, I follow up with them, I share value, I share a book, they become a relationship in my life. But a relationship in your life needs multiple touches in order for them to really be a relationship in your life. A relationship is not someone that you fall in love with. A relationship is just a relationship. It's just someone that you know. It's an acquaintance. It's someone that you see here and there. But it's up to you to create those at least 7 connections where you are near each other in proximity. And today on Zoom, you can achieve the exact same thing. But if you do this on Zoom, please turn your video on. No video on Zoom, you're cutting out most of the networking abilities. Have your video on. Make sure the light is on your face. Make sure people could see you. If there's light behind you, people cannot see your face. They don't like that because your face is dark. People want to be able to network with you. They want to be able to feel your energy from your face. Your face actually communicates a huge amount of what you're communicating. And if the relationships feel good in your life, you could choose which one of them become partners. Partners are not necessarily business partners. Partners are anyone that you have any sort of financial exchange with. Suppliers, investors, any kind of freelancers that you work with, any employees, or anyone that you have financial contribution to, they have contribution. I call those partners because they're financial partners. And at each level, it is your responsibility to know information about them. If you look at your top 5 clients, do you know where they went on vacation last? It's important. Do you know anything personal about them? If you don't know information about your top 5 clients, you're not a nice person. Top 5 clients. Top 5 people who gave you money to eat. And this is something I'm constantly teaching my salespeople. They gave you money to pay for rent this month. And you don't know if they're married with kids. That is awful. That makes you an awful human being. No information. So it means that if you want to bring someone into your relationship level, spend time with them. Be curious about them. Ask them a few personal questions about them. Take yourself into that vulnerable position where you share about yourself before you ask them. That's how you go deeper and deeper with people. You're sharing about yourself something that's uncomfortable, and then you're giving them space to share about them. Because if you're allowing them to get to the partners level, that's when they get to the friendship zone, to the family zone. I have a lot of people who I consider as my family members in Bali. Family members. We have all these groups. They're family members. There's trust. There is level, very, very, very deep level of vulnerability. We've shared space together a lot. And I believe you could build relationships extremely quickly. You don't need years to make best friends. I also don't believe in best friends that you have for 20 years. I don't get that. I've just never had them myself because I believe that we go in and out of relationships. So I believe that you need to make great, deep friendships where you live right now at this moment of your life. Wow. So it's not really a system, but there's a systematic approach that might be easier for some people to follow in order to get to the result where they have incredible people around them.
Wow. Wow. All right. So look, we're going to draw this to a close as part of it. I'm conscious of people's time.
I'm talking to you guys too much. Sorry.
Gil, you've been phenomenal. So there's three things I want to say. The first thing is thank you, everybody here. I think a round of applause for yourself. Thanks, guys. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. All right.
I got a big gift for you guys, I promise.
Okay. We're going to give Gil the last stage in a second. But I just want to say for those of you at home, if you feel like, or people here actually, if you feel like this is resonating with you and you would like to do a speak up, just reach out to me, get in touch with me. I'm sure we can work it out, because ultimately if you're putting yourself forward, then you know what you're up for. And some part of you is calling for it, right? So you know what you're up for, put your hand up, get in touch with me, and then we can have a chat and we can work it out. Okay, that's that bit there.
Or you can reach out to me.
Or reach out, but that's coming.
Just say hi.
That's coming.
That's all.
That's coming. And then secondly, I want to thank Itchy and Bella. Itchy is the owner here at Tropical Mermaid. And Bella.
Yeah, good job, guys.
All right. An amazing collaboration partner and an incredible, beautiful human beings, both of them. I love them dearly. And look, so Gil, so I'm going to give you the closing part of the stage. By the way, next week, Rhonda Swan, who introduced me and Gil actually, will be here. Rhonda Swan is another incredible human being with a great story to tell. And make sure this is good. Yes, a great story to tell. Something that we can all, I think, be inspired by. She has an incredible family, incredible daughter. So if you have kids, please come, because she's got some really interesting things to share. I don't want to hype her up too much, but trust me, you want to be here in person. Worst case scenario, watch it on YouTube or Facebook Live.
Highly, highly recommend you check out Rhonda. She's awesome. And her husband and their daughter. Oh my God.
Yeah, amazing. So then, okay, so to you, Brother Gil, there's two things I want to ask you. The first thing is, what do you have coming up? And what people can either meet you or get involved with? That's the first question. And then the second question, second point for me, is if there's anything that you could leave people with, and that's whatever's resonating with you right now, that you think would be a really nice thing to leave people with before we conclude this part of the evening. So firstly, what have you got coming up?
Yeah.
Secondly, what do you want to leave with?
I got all kinds of things coming up, but don't worry about it. Yeah, don't if you want to be involved in my life, if you want to get involved, if you want to get together, if you want to collaborate, get in touch. LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm the only Gil Petersil in the world, so if you can't find me, it's not my fault. Very easy to find me. Get in touch, say hi, and mention this guy's name so I know the connection. And don't just press connect, please. Don't just add people on social media. That's horrible when you just connect or add friend. Always send a personal message. Always say something, anything, whatever it is that you want. So just connect. There's nothing to really sell. All my projects are now going through a stage of labor. When a beautiful woman gives birth, takes 9 months to get to that stage. My wife is at 8 months, so I know what I'm talking about with the baby number 3. And then there's labor time, and that's difficult. And right now, in the last few months, we've been hatching something new. Something new is coming up. There's new projects and new developments and new opportunities. And I have this massive feeling that September, October, not only am I going to get a new baby in my life, that's a complete surprise. I don't know if I'm expecting a boy or girl, which is a lot of fun. But I think that the world's going to get a massive kick in the ass. That's going to be a secondary wake-up call. I'm actually quite excited about because it's going to be something that we're all looking forward to. Not from a, hey, it's going to be fun, but hey, it's going to like, wow, bring us to the next level. So I'm just getting ready for that. And people who want to collaborate on things and get ready together and build things together. And I'm very focused on building, sustainable communities around the world. Like networking has led me to building communities and building businesses. And I do consulting for corporations and companies and entrepreneurs all the time. And how do you build a business quickly? How do you build that community? How do you develop a company? How do you start a company by adjusting that network, bringing the mentors, bringing the investors? Like, how do you do that quickly? That's kind of my passion. So I just want more people that want to collaborate, really. But I would say the last thing I would leave people with is in order to prepare yourself for what's coming up, don't try to reinvent the wheel and do something yourself. That's it. Please don't do anything yourself. Please partner up with people who are doing the exact same thing, especially if you're in this room. Too many people who are smart are feeling that they need to do something, and they're doing the exact same thing that all these other people are doing. And they think they're going to do it better. And no, they're not. They're really, really not, because the ego will get in the way of I could do it better. Instead of saying, they've already done a little bit and they've done a little bit, let's trust the network and collaborate. And that means we need to step out of our comfort zone and collaborate and trust ourselves. And there's no need to open another one. If someone has already done it, there's no need to copy. There's better to repurpose. Yeah, don't copy, but collaborate. Don't build something brand new in Bali right now. Take something that exists and make it better. Yeah, that's so important. If you're listening to this, please, please, please take this seriously right now. Right now, it's the time for the world to us to come together, because together we are better. Truly, together we are so much stronger than you can ever imagine.
Fuck. Round of applause for Gil, guys. Yeah, come on, man. I just want to say, brother, I've loved getting to know you even more.
Thank you, man.
And thank you for being open to the process and just giving and vulnerable and sharing.
I love you, man. I love your energy. I could do this for a few more hours, but they need a drink. Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, man.
Thank you, everybody online. I don't know who you are, but send me a message if you've been listening to this. Yeah, there's all kind of people online watching. Oh, my mom was watching at one point. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Did I say anything bad? No, I don't think so. Mom, I love you.
Man. Ooh. 2%